Hey everybody, Brett Tadlock here, TN Artist. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. So if you're new here, what we do, or what I do, I guess because there's not really a we, but what I do is I teach you how to paint digitally using traditional techniques. And my channel is really geared towards people that are just kind of getting into it and wanting to learn how to do it, or people that are wanting to use more of a traditional techniques than like photo bashing and that kind of stuff. You won't find much in the way of Photoshop on here. I use primarily ArtRage and various iterations of it from 5, 6 to Vitae, its newest one, Rebel, both 4 and 5, switching over to the 5 now, and Procreate as well. So that's what I use for all of my stuff that I do. I primarily show the stuff here on my YouTube channel. I do have a patron page over on Patreon that you can join if you want to for the full length of doing everything. It's only $3 a month and there's hours and hours of content there. So hopefully you'll take a look at it. But today's painting, A Winter Walk, is really designed to kind of help those who don't know how to draw use the stencils that you can get from my Gumroad account, either the free ones or the pay ones, whichever, and be able to really use those to lay out a painting and go from start to finish with it. And I figured this one was a good one to start with for showing that, because I have had several people that have said, hey, I don't know how to draw, can you do that? And so I've been trying to gravitate towards making some different paintings that are designed to help people that can't draw as well or aren't as confident with it as yet. And so there's line art that you can use for my other paintings that you can color in and follow along. There's this one right here that works with a lot of stencils and being able to use it, because I'm a big believer of the stencils and brushes because they help save you time. And that's what they're designed to do, is really save you time and effort. So that way you can just enjoy the painting part. But anyway, I hope you'll enjoy watching this today. This is going to be a speed painting of going through it, so I'm just going to kind of speed it up and show you what all we did. But like I said, the full complete painting, it's an hour and a half of the lesson, is over on Patreon. So I hope you'll join me there. So thanks again and welcome to my channel. So hey, let's roll that intro. All right, so like I said on the intro there, the full video for this is over on Patreon, but I wanted to show you the quick version of it here so you can see kind of what all we go over. So the first thing I discuss is how to lay out your composition and to think about, you know, where everything's going to be, and if you're not somebody who has a lot of drawing talent, how you can do that, and then take stencils and lay those out to start getting an idea of where you want everything. You can overlap them, you can lay them in, stretch them, contort them, and everything else. And that's what I'm doing here. I just opened up a bunch of the tree stencils from my pack over on Gumroad and started laying them on here to get kind of a feel for where the trees would be and how I liked them and that kind of stuff. And that's the first part, is just, you know, giving yourself the complete permission to play around and see where you like things. And so that's what I did here. Then once I had everything kind of manipulated and added a few more to kind of see an idea of what I wanted, then from there I just hid them. And then the first step after taking a look and hiding them all is to take my watercolor brushes and start just laying in some different colors for the actual sky and getting that laid out. And so what I did here was I just laid in some of the colors, just a few quick layers of it on there, and then took the palette knife and started softening everything out. And then on top of that, I made another layer because that I wanted to use to push it a little bit dull, you know, a little bit more dull in the look of it, because the top layer it was kind of really vivid blue and purples, and that's not what I wanted. So I softened it back with the other one, and then from there, just kind of did this rough, you know, landscape kind of background that I want to be the really distant trees. Honestly, most of this not even going to see, but the point here was just trying to show that, you know, again, if you can't draw, you can still make something, and you know how to do it. And then things to think about as far as breaking up the hard line of your selection from where you drew out these hills, and how to use, you know, the palette knife to do that, or even some of the other custom brushes that I have to do that. And then you can get some nice variation for distant trees, closer and further away, and being able to just, you know, play around with it so that it gets that nice look. Now this is the next layer, and what this layer is actually where I'm going to start laying in for the trees. So those trees that I hid, the stencils, will come back over top of this, and then I'll erase everything else away and leave the trees. But I wanted to show how, you need to kind of pull it up and take a look and see everything and make sure that you've got color where you need it before you do your erasing. And then once you've got it where you like it, you can from there just erase it all back and get a good feel for exactly what it wants. And then once you've got that done, you can then see your stencils, and you can see right there how it works great for, again, if you're not somebody that draws a lot or you want to just kind of experiment with the laying out, this is a good way to do it. And then the next thing I was doing here was saying, okay, what are the trees I need to remove so I can make foreground trees and keep those? So I did the same thing. Throw in some dark colors, some shapes. I do this like this because it builds up texture. It gives you an interesting look and feel that you just kind of breaks it up and makes it a little more organic and random. And then delete it back and see exactly what I want. And then from there, it's just a matter of saying, okay, my landscape that I drew out in my original design is kind of slanted from the right down to the left, and just erasing away the bottom of the trees to kind of get that laid out and talking about laying in some of the highlights and stuff. And then this part right here is where I'm talking about how you can select the layer contents if you needed to later to use that for almost as another stencil. And then I saved it just to make sure, because storms were coming through at the time I recorded it, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose where I was at with it. But the important part of this is, I guess really what I want to get across in this speed painting part is not so much all the details of how I do it all, at high speed, because it's much better to go and watch the full version of this over on Patreon, where again, it's only $3 per month. But the point is that you have the ability with digital art to really relax and really experiment, because you can always undo stuff. You're not wasting any paint. You're not wasting a canvas or paper. Instead, you have the opportunity to play. And that's what I try to encourage people to do, is just relax, paint something. If you don't like it when you're done with it, you can always not save it, or you could save it and then go back and figure out, well, what worked, what didn't? How do I do that? Do I want to go back in and fix this one? Do I want to just be done with it and move on to the next one? Which is something I do recommend doing. Just go ahead and be done with it and move on to the next one. But so here I was talking about how to add in some, highlights and some purples and stuff to get you some nice shadows and flow of snow, so you can get all that. But that's the key thing I want you to take away from anything that's here on my channel, is just give yourself the opportunity to play. Give yourself the ability to have fun and to just, enjoy the process. I have a lot more of these here on YouTube that are completely free. I have more on Patreon that are full breakdowns of everything as well. And so I hope you'll join me on one of those. Also, don't forget to come over to the Facebook group that I have. It's called Art Lessons. You have to answer 3 questions to get in it. And if you answer those 3 questions, I let you in. And then we all just kind of share artwork in there and share different stuff. I mean, it's basically as interactive as somebody wants to make it. And more than willing to, give feedback or critiques, or if it's just a place that you want to show stuff and not get any feedback or critiques, you can do that too. But the main thing with it is just, work on stuff, experiment, play around, and then, keep growing. And so trying to share stuff. So I guess that's about it for this, voiceover of kind of the speed paint part. The rest of this is really just going in and adding snow and highlights and talking about how to do that and showing all that process. So I guess I'll leave you here with the rest of the video. Enjoy it. Let me know if you have any comments or questions below in the comments section. I'll be happy to try and help out there. And all the links to everything are below. So, from the brushes to the Patreon to everything else. So I hope you'll join us there. I really appreciate you watching everything, and I hope you got something out of this. So have a great day, and be safe wherever you are. Thanks so much.